So that's where we would have the potential to see a tornado touch down. This is the same storm that earlier touched down in Westmoreland. But right now, what we have is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, and it's a very impressive storm cloud that's over Topeka right now, no doubt. This is one that certainly probably remember for a long time after watching this one go through and looking from Menninger Hill in Topeka.
A report from Emergency Management in Jefferson County on some rotation near the Calhoun Bluffs.
Calhoun Bluffs, okay. Thank you, Doug.
Jeremy, thanks. The worst of tonight's storms hit Westmoreland, where one person was confirmed to have been killed. 13's Michaela Kelly reports live from the town, where authorities have updated the situation throughout the night.
Well, Victoria, right now I'm outside one of just many houses that was destroyed as a result of today's tornado. Pottawatomie County officials say that the northern part of Westmoreland received the brunt of today's damage. 22 homes were completely destroyed, while 13 experienced recoverable damage. First responders from across the surrounding counties and the state arrived quickly to help assess and clean up.
We had Manhattan Fire here, I believe a bunch of County Sheriff's Office, Wamego Police, I believe St. Mary's, Kansas Highway Patrol. There's a lot of folks that came in here. State of Kansas, I believe, is here, and they came together for the community to do a good job. And I'm surprised at how fast it is wrapped up with the amount of damage that they had.
Right now, they're working to get power back on inch by inch as it is safe to do so. Also, the Red Cross has opened a shelter at Rock Creek High School in St. George for those who may need a place to stay tonight. Victoria?
All right, Michaela Kelly tonight, thanks so much. And of course, a lot of you shared images of the storm tonight as it moved through. Now, Tanya captured this shot of the funnel near Westmoreland.
Jeremy, a longtime Pottawatomie County Health Department worker was killed in Westmoreland's tornado. Moments ago, Pottawatomie County officials said it was 58-year-old Ann Miller who was the storm's victim. Miller was a longtime resident and described as the welcoming face of the county's health department. Our Sky Eye drone just shows the widespread destruction in the town. A National Weather Service had assessment teams on site today. They rated it as an EF3, a 100-yard wide storm with winds clocking 140 miles per hour along a 2.5-mile path. We have team coverage as volunteers and work crews have been out overnight and throughout this morning and day. 13's Madison Bickley is live in Westmoreland to bring us the latest on those efforts.
Melissa, here in Westmoreland, volunteers and work crews have been out all day trying to remove all of the damage and debris left behind from the tornado that happened here yesterday. I spoke with one family earlier who lost everything.
You never think it's going to happen to you.
Josh and Carrie Cruzy were in Topeka when they heard a tornado touch down near their home in Westmoreland.
I figured everything would be kind of okay, but it's not. All the windows are busted, but maybe a couple. The north wall has separated away from the whole deal. The basement foundation's pulled away, and that far wall keeps getting further and further away, so it's probably going to break and fall off.
An EF3 tornado destroyed the Cruzy's homes plus 21 others, 5 outbuildings and 2 county buildings. 13 other homes were damaged.
Neighborhoods torn up, everybody's homes are wrecked, and we really don't know where to start. That's the hardest part.
Less than 24 hours later, more than 175 volunteers arrived to help clean up the debris, while the American Red Cross provided a temporary shelter for those who need it.
A lot of people are probably still in a little bit of shock from what occurred, but due to the response, people coming to help them clean up, make sure they're safe, make sure they're healthy and happy.
Pottawatomie County says the outpouring of community support helps everyone.
Right now, just the encouragement, knowing that you're willing to come help is going to mean a lot to everybody. So just having the people come up and help where they can, just cleaning up sticks out of the yard is going to mean a lot to everybody. That will really help.
But at the end of the day, the Cruzy family says they're just happy to be okay.
Thank God all these people are here. It's amazing, the help from the community and everybody.
At this time, Westmoreland is asking for monetary donations to help those affected by the tornadoes. Melissa?
Madison, thank you. And we're going to have some addresses coming up on where you can send those monetary donations. They say they have all the items they need for now and enough volunteers for the night also. The community support has certainly been strong. The American Red Cross took notice. They've moved in to provide support. That's what they have told 13's Joseph Robin. He continues our team coverage live tonight. Joseph?
Hey, Melissa, the Red Cross says the way the community has come together has made their job significantly easier.
Jeremy, thanks once again. It is indeed Election Day. Polls will be closing soon. Kansans have about an hour left right now to still cast their ballots in the 2024 election.
There's time. 13's Brent Palmer is at the Shawnee County Election Office tonight with a look at how things have gone throughout the day. Brent?
Hey, David and Melissa. I'm here with Mr. Andrew Howell tonight. Mr. Howell, how are you doing?
Doing good.
All right, excellent. So tell me a little bit about these numbers tonight. How many people have voted so far?
So I just checked a moment ago. Across the county, we've had about 46,000 voters that have voted today.
Thank you. Yes, a lot of advance voting. The presidential election is driving a lot of turnout, but also one of the bigger contests on our tickets tonight is the race in the state's 2nd congressional district.
13's Callie Holthouse is following the Republican candidate Derek Schmidt at his watch party in Independence, Kansas tonight. She's here to break down the showdown between Schmidt and Democrat Nancy Boyda. Callie.
Hi guys, I spoke with Schmidt just moments ago.
We'll be checking back, Callie. Thanks for the update there. And of course, all seats in the Kansas House and Senate are up for vote as well this November.
13's Michaela Kelly continues our team coverage. She's keeping an eye on the legislature live outside the State House right now with a look at what's at stake. Michaela.
Yeah, right now I am outside the State House.
Today we share an incredible survival story. Hazel Rose faced the longest of odds when she was born, but her fight far outweighed her tiny size. 13's Melissa Bruner shares her family's long journey home.
All babies' homecomings are joyous, but this one was a long time in coming.
Every time I look at her, I'm just like, I can't believe you're here.
Hazel Rose started life like this.
She was 24 weeks and 13 ounces.
Parents Nikki and Corey Kusick say the pregnancy was fairly normal until 23 weeks when Nikki's blood pressure soared. She was hospitalized with preeclampsia.
My OB, Dr. Blake, kind of kept just saying, you know, if you can hold on one more day, like you'll give her a better shot. We held on for 8 days.
That's when Hazel's heart rate dropped. Doctors performed an emergency C-section. For Nikki and Corey, the hope was they'd be able to hold their little girl, if only for a minute.
The nurse standing behind me taps me on the shoulder and says, now she probably won't cry because she's too early and too small. The second the doctor got her out and had her in his hands, she goes, wah, and let out one tiny cry. At that moment, I knew two things. One, she was going to make it, and two, we were in trouble because she was an opinionated little girl.
Oh, I see those pretty eyes.
Day 1, May 9th, 2023.
So they were just, you know, kind of preparing us that she's here, but we don't know how long she's going to be here.
Realistically, it is very hard for babies like that to survive.
But Hazel had her own reality. Dr. Giselle Doyle was part of her NICU care team at Topeka's Stormont Vale.
From the time I met Hazel from delivery, she's always been a fighter. All of her complications, she's always been a fighter.
Day 32 was a good day. They held Hazel for the first time, went to dinner to celebrate. The next morning, they got a call to rush to the hospital. Hazel had stopped breathing.
We got in there and they were doing compressions on her, and her stomach had started to extend, and we didn't know why.
Hazel had a blockage in her intestines. If it perforated and surgeons didn't immediately act, Hazel could die. And those surgeons weren't at Stormont. They were an hour away at their partner, Children's Mercy in Kansas City. A week later, doctors gave the green light. Hazel was stable enough to make the flight.
She perforated as they landed.
If we did not have this partnership with Children's, being able to get Hazel out in such a timely manner, then the outcomes could have been a lot worse.
Hazel would undergo 7 surgeries over the next few months. They lost count of how often her oxygen dropped dangerously low.
They kept telling us, you know, like, this challenge is going to come up and we don't think she's going to make it. And every time she was just like, no, I'm here and I'm going to stay.
It was so up and down from day to day, and it really kind of highlighted the need to take everything one step at a time and, enjoy the good moments so that you don't highlight the bad moments.
There was Halloween, Christmas,
Come on, Jersey, go Chiefs,
the Super Bowl, first walk outside, first birthday, then day 378. Finally, Hazel came home.
Actually being in the same house together and being a whole family for the first time in a year, it was relief is the only way I can describe it.
Also, they admit, a bit terrifying. Their new normal includes monitors. Hazel uses a trach, oxygen, and a feeding tube. They have home nursing care, and they helped their other child, Elton John, adjust too.
The second that Hazel came in, he immediately went into the big brother role and started kind of guarding her and, keeping tabs on people.
Corey and Nikki say they can't express thanks enough for every doctor, nurse, friend, and stranger who offered support.
It definitely highlighted the importance of having a good core of people around you and a good community and a good partner.
As for the future, doctors say Hazel's lungs and organs, incredibly, all look normal. By her second birthday, they say she could be off the oxygen and eating normally. All she needs is time to catch up.
She is the ultimate miracle baby. She is what we call a true survivor. And for me, it's always being reminded what's impossible with man is always possible with God. She literally defied all of the odds.
And Nikki and Corey have no doubt their small but fierce fighter will continue to beat the odds and inspire everyone around her.
But it just puts life into perspective. If this little baby is going to fight so hard to be here, then we're going to fight just as hard for her. That's what I've learned from her. It's just to never give up.
There's always hope. There's always something to believe in.
Melissa Bruner, 13 News.
From that 13 ounces, Hazel Rose now weighs 18 pounds, and she will start therapy in a few weeks to help her build strength to start sitting up and standing and eventually walking and running.
This is a 13 News special presentation, The Miracle on Kansas Avenue, presented by Giant Communications.
Hey everybody, welcome in. It's the 29th annual Miracle on Kansas Avenue. We are live on WIBW.com and we've got the most amazing crowd out here. You guys ready for a parade or what? Can we hear you? I got Melissa Bruner here with me and we've got the main attraction here.
All right, folks, the Miracle on Kansas Avenue Parade is minutes away from stepping off. We are on our red carpet, and that means we have a performer worthy of the red carpet. Antoine's going to tell us the story behind this special event, but folks, I can tell you right now, this is something he has created especially for us in Top City, Topeka, Kansas.
The Hazenkamp family has farmed land around Soldier, Kansas for generations. For them, the pain of suicide is all too familiar.
He felt like he was a burden. And, when you ask for help, sometimes you feel like you are a burden, but that's not true. You're not a burden. The value of Dad's life is invaluable.
Nick lost his father Bob to suicide in 2010 after a battle with health and financial issues.
It's a population that is very self-sufficient, and they pride themselves on working hard and maintaining control of the crops and the cattle and being able to do that on their own. Some maybe feel that they're weak if they ask for help. Losing that sense of control is a vulnerable thing, and farmers and ranchers and, myself included and all of us, it's very difficult to be vulnerable.
The issue also is personal for Sarah Gideon.
I lost my first friend at the age of 15 to death by suicide. I've lost friends in the ranching industry to their death by suicide.
Gideon now works to prevent it through the Health Innovations Network of Kansas, or HINC. According to the National Rural Health Association, farmers have about a 3.5% higher rate of death by suicide than the general population.
Weather issues, commodity prices, high inputs, costs like the cost of diesel, the cost of grain, of seed, etc., that cause a lot of stress.
I do struggle with depression, and the things that bother me or cause my depression
are things I can't control as a human or as a farmer.
Dan Nerud of Nebraska Corn Board sees the seeds not only in himself, but the farmers he works with.
The problem that it's kept so quiet behind closed doors.
Hink is working to bring it into the open through its SPIN initiative, the Suicide Prevention Information Network.
So our Coffee Cot project, we actually go out into the communities and we visit those businesses within the communities, our local hotspots. Also within our website, you will find a list of resources specific to the ag and ranching industry. That might mean financial resources, help with their family, stressors, those ag-specific industry resources that they could take advantage of.
Holton Community Hospital says the need for mental health care is always increasing.
Every 3 years, we perform a community health needs assessment. Behavioral health and mental health resources and a lack thereof has come up year after year that we've done that.
The Hazenkamp family says communicating with loved ones and asking questions is key.
If you're a brother, be a brother. If you're a mother, be a mother. If you're a father, be a father. Play the role that you've been given, and love them, and just remind them every day that they're valuable and they mean more to your family and more to you than what they even really realize.
You can tell 14 years later and it still hurts, but our saying is things are going to work out. Just got to trust in God and it's going to be okay. We have a list of available resources for farmers and ranchers and anyone seeking mental health help on our website at WIBW.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of Eye on Northeast Kansas. We are launching a special campaign here at WIBW TV called Hear Me, See Me. All this year, we'll be shining a spotlight on mental health, raising awareness, erasing stigma, connecting you with resources, and inspiring change along the way too. We start right now with an overview of what mental health is and how communities are working to address it. Please know as we go through this discussion, if you or someone you know is in crisis, you can reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. What do we mean when we say mental health? That's where we're starting today. Dr. Laura Seidlinger is Director of Medical Services at Vallejo Behavioral Health in Topeka. Jenna Dunham is Director of Medical Services at Pawnee Mental Health in Manhattan. And Amanda Cunningham is CEO of Crosswinds Counseling and Wellness in Emporia. So glad you all could be with us. And I'm so glad that we have our region represented here today. It's so important because, Dr. Seidlinger, it is a broad definition when we say mental health. What are we talking about?
So I'm gonna take it from the other angle because we talk about mental health disorders. They can be behavioral or psychological changes that then can impact other areas of our lives, our work, our school, our relationships, our peers, and it can be something that can be just very minor. Some anxiety, which is a normal emotion, but it helps. It keeps us in check, but it can get out of hand and keep us from doing things that we should be doing. Or it can progress into more serious mental illnesses, such as the severe persistent mental illnesses like bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, as well as other psychotic disorders.
How do you, Jenna, weigh out one versus the other? So those that, and we don't want to say those that don't necessarily affect your life, because that's the point. They all are going to affect your life. But those that are the severe persistent mental illness versus those that maybe people think of as something that we could perhaps more easily cope with in our life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think a lot of it is about balance, and it's also about not operating in a silo and being able to normalize a lot of what we experience as mental health, because honestly, mental health will touch you, me, and everyone that we know in one fashion or another. And so understanding when it's okay to reach out, when it's good to get connected to resources, maybe the answer is we always should be connected in those networks in some fashion or another.
The Kansas Mental Health Coalition shared a message of support today. 13's Michaela Kelly is back in the newsroom with a look at their Advocacy Day at the Capitol.
Melissa, advocates and agencies from across the state rallied together to not only support each other, but to use their voices to advocate for policies that prioritize mental health.
not only an opportunity for us all to get together in person and network with one another.
Like, I get a lot of really desperate phone calls from people all across the state, and I cannot express how much these groups matter in making sure people are healthy and happy and safe and can live fulfilling lives.
Melissa also spoke at today's event, sharing information about WIBW's Hear Me, See Me project. You can find mental health resources at wibw.com/hearmeseme. Melissa?
We continue. I was also humbled to be honored with the Special Mental Health Awareness Warrior Award for our efforts supporting the organization and for our team's Hear Me, See Me campaign. We are keeping an eye.
Vallejo works with over 80 community partners, and many were proudly in attendance tonight.
It's just great to see them here and to see them supporting us.
And our very own Melissa Bruner served as MC tonight. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, you can call the 24-hour crisis hotline at 785-234-3300 or visit Vallejo's 24-hour crisis center at 333 Southwest Oakley Ave. Callie?
Here at home, perhaps you saw the multiple pictures posted over the weekend showing that trash overflowing at various dumpsters at several Topeka apartment complexes. It's now prompted a lot of people to speak out tonight, and the city is taking action. 13's Madison Bickley is also on your side tonight, trying to get to the bottom of what's going on.
David, complaints from tenants are piling up as fast as the trash outside of the apartments, with concerns regarding cleanliness, health, and timeliness. I spoke with several tenants, both on and off camera, who expressed their frustrations.
It's been a problem. This isn't the first time this has happened either.
Picture stepping outside of your residence, only to be met with pests and the stench from piles of garbage.
It's unsightly, it stinks, it's just nasty.
For many of our neighbors across the city, this has become their reality.
It's very frustrating. We pay for a service. I mean, that's included. It should be handled as such.
Several apartments, all under the parent company of Eucalyptus LLC, have dealt with every single dumpster surrounding their units pouring out into the road with trash. Tenants fear for the health of not only themselves, but their little ones as well.
I'm really angry because it's a really bad sight when you pull up here. It doesn't look pretty, it stinks, and I don't want my kid to go out here. She runs around the parking lot when I'm walking out, and I don't want her to step on something or get into something. A lot of it, if you notice, it's not even in bags, so we don't know what's in there, what's on the road, what's in the trash can, and we would just really like it to be picked up because we don't know what else can happen because of this little thing. Like, if you're gonna let the trash overflow like this, then what else are you gonna let fall to the wayside?
City of Topeka released a statement on Monday noting they are currently addressing the concerns and have issued appropriate citations to the local landlord. The city also said the landlord has taken steps to resolve the issue, and new dumpsters are expected to be delivered to affected properties this week.
I like the area. I mean, it's pretty quiet. People here are nice. I like my neighbors and what have you, but yeah, this has become a problem. It really has.
I really do like living here. I love my neighbors, so I would just like it to be cleaned up. I don't want anything else to happen. I want it to be safe and clean and healthy for everybody here.
The city also noted all Eucalyptus LLC properties would be inspected by the end of the day today. You can see the city's full statement on WIBW.com. Also, I reached out to the parent company and owner, but not yet have received a response.
Topeka City crews swept in this morning to finish the work of clearing trash from Topeka apartment complexes. The city said 14 of the 34 properties owned by Lou McGinnis that it cited 2 weeks ago remained in violation. 13's Melissa Bruner shows us how the city took action.
Today, due process has run its course.
Topeka property maintenance crews are helping Topeka apartment residents see a clean start to the new year.
And we're serving the warrant and we're cleaning up the property.
Descending on 14 properties owned by Lou McGinnis and Eucalyptus LLC, where trash piles remained.
This is unacceptable. The condition of this property is unacceptable, and that's why we're here today.
13 News has followed the plight of residents who told us trash dumpsters overflowed for weeks. The city ultimately cited 34 properties and gave McGinnis until December 26th to clean it up. By Tuesday morning, the city said 14 remained in violation. 13 News did see private crews working at one of the properties, but elsewhere, a team of about 24 city property maintenance workers used 10 to 15 vehicles to move in.
So all costs associated with the trucks, with the bulldozers, with the bobcats, with the personnel, he'll be responsible to pay that.
Residents may not be in the clear just yet. Several properties still don't have dumpsters. The city's property maintenance director, John Scareen, says McGinnis has told them they are ordered and awaiting delivery.
This is very disappointing. This is not the standards that we want to upheld in the city of Topeka. We need a higher elevation of standards.
Melissa Bruner, 13 News.
The city says 21 properties without dumpsters were cited this week, and they're processing new affidavits of those violations with municipal court. As far as the cleanup, the city says all properties were in compliance as of this afternoon. We did reach out to Eucalyptus LLC and have not heard back.
Board's 70th anniversary draws near. Children involved in the lawsuit are sharing their experience. 13's Callie Holthouse brings us that perspective tonight. Callie, what did they say?
Melissa, the two child plaintiffs I spoke to were largely unaware of what was happening around them at the time, or the pivotal role that they and their parents played in shaping the civil rights movement. At the heart of the Brown versus Board lawsuit were parents fighting to make the world a fair place for their kids.
I understood that they were trying to make it so I could go to school with my friends.
Dwayne Fleming was one of 20 child plaintiffs in the suit.
I was raised in an integrated neighborhood. There were white people, African Americans, Indians, Mexicans, everything in our neighborhood, but we couldn't go to the same schools.
Victoria Benson was also a child plaintiff, though she didn't know it.
My mother and father didn't discuss anything like that with their children. They wanted us to be children. I think I was probably in high school before any of it made sense to me.
Benson attended Buchanan Elementary, an all-black school about 6 blocks from her home. The all-white Lowman Elementary was half a block away, but Kansas law prohibited her and her sister from enrolling. That lack of power to decide where to send her kids for school motivated her mother to sign on to the lawsuit.
It was she had the right to make the choice. Don't take my choice from me.
Their story serves as a reminder of how far we've come and how far we've yet to go in the fight for equity.
I have to point out is that prejudice is a learned thing. It's not something anyone is born with.
You can put an Asian child, Hispanic child, black child, right here on the floor. They'll eat out of the same bowl, play with the same toys, wrestle around, hug one another. Hatred and prejudice is taught.
We're all human beings. All of our blood is red.
May 17th will officially mark 70 years since the Supreme Court sided with Fleming, Benson, and their co-plaintiffs, ruling that separate was not equal. Events all around the capital city will celebrate the milestone. I'll be back here tomorrow with a look at photography in the civil rights era.
Friday marks 70 years since the U.S. Supreme Court issued its decision in Brown versus Board of Education, saying separate but equal is inherently unequal. No one knows that history better than the students who lived it, and 3 of them are here with us today: Carolyn Campbell, Dale Cushenberry, and Bernard Hurd. It's so good to see all 3 of you. Thank you for being here. And you all have been very involved in education, which is fantastic as well. So which schools did you go to, Carolyn? You went to?
I went to McKinley Elementary in North Topeka.
In North Topeka.
Buchanan.
And Bernard?
Monroe
Elementary. So 3 of the different people so often talk about Monroe because it was at the center, so to speak, of the Brown v. Board case, but all the schools actually were. And Carolyn, what do you remember about that time? What was your school like?
It was wonderful. I always tell people that I am a proud product of segregation because every day that we went to school, we were greeted with love and respect.
Welcome to Carrying the Crown, a special presentation by 13 Sports, your front row seat to the Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a legendary 3rd championship title. We relive their epic back-to-back victories as well as get a glimpse into the upcoming season and the team's relentless pursuit to greatness that keeps them at the top. This season, the crown is theirs to defend. Now here's Vince Lovergene and Katie Moore.
Hello and welcome to our Kansas City Chiefs 2024 preseason special, Carrying the Crown. I'm Vince Lamborghini.
And I'm Katie Marr. For the next half hour, we're diving into all things Chiefs as the reigning back-to-back Super Bowl champs are about to begin their journey to do what no NFL team has ever done before, win 3 straight Super Bowls.